Switching up the angles again. I'm going to shuffle and we'll pull the cards, and then I'm gonna turn the cards down, see how that works out. We're at Cancer. This month, I think that a fellow water sign, in everyone's own way, take a breath with me, we are experiencing different aspects of revealing, while at the same time learning to deal with some unearthing shifts and changes in the sky. We have a lot moving into different signs in the few months as we get into this year. For you, there's a huge, I know we talked about slowing down recently, which we do every so months for you. It's like a nice little pattern, Cancer. And I think that Judgment and then the Queen of Cups. Whatever you're not saying, or whatever you feel is not being communicated to you, you're sensing it in a whole other way. As we know, when you block certain senses or sensories in the body, other ones get heightened or strengthened, right? So for you, if you're choosing not to speak for your own personal reasons, especially when it comes to love, money plan, perhaps, or even the certain kind of luck you may be coming into at this moment. If you focus on what's not being said or what you're not saying too much, you'll miss something. You'll miss a time where you needed to be more present, or you needed to see maybe an opportunity in front of you. That is a lot of cards, so I'm sorry. It's a lot. We're not doing those all right now, but if they come out again, I will, okay? Nine of Swords. Whatever you know is all in your head, or all in, caught up in certain points or times of the past. It's a huge moment for you to really break free from certain narratives. Because when you begin to notice and really feel into what's not being said or communicated, we're going to go with that for now, and you really get to hone in on that feeling, or maybe you choose to be silent for a certain period of time. You can actually do stuff called vipassanas. There are different retreats that do that. But it's really a retreating inside. This month will cause you to retreat inside at first. Cause you to go with some notion that whatever's not being said, you want to listen. You want to listen to, and whatever is being said, listen to what's not being said by what's being said. This reading in between the lines isn't something that you're an observant to. It's just not the first thing you think of. You know, you are skeptical, but if someone that of authority or that you trust or to some capacity has power, you want to somewhat trust because they've gotten to that point. But right now, you're really reading between the lines of all of this, because all of this effort that it's taken up until this point, and then having to go silent or go ghost in some type of aspect. We can get into that after. There's a part of you that realizes that there's something that you've been leaving unsaid, that you've been leaving unseen within yourself, that this pull back brings you to a place of, it's not about just being in the shell and being comfortable here and know that you can rule from inside and it's totally fine, right? But there has been this external effort to also kind of lock you in to some extent, depending on your situation. What it seems to be mimicking or mirroring is this part of you that really needs to be seen. There's a part of you that needs to be seen and heard and cared for in this moment, in this time in your life, and it's bringing, I just want you to see her. Look at her, just hanging out with us. She always says this, you just can't always see her. Maybe we'll do it here from now on. What happens when you give that part of yourself space, even if it's a part that you thought you've dealt with or you don't even remember, perhaps? What happens is that when we, in our ego, hides something or decides that it doesn't matter or it doesn't need to be seen or looked at, because it does, there's this unhealthy attachment, this unhealthy like string that's there, but you're so unwilling to see it and listen to it, even if it's just for a few moments. Sometimes some things last longer, but for you, this is going to help you maybe feel some detachment from whatever caused you not to look this way, to not pay attention or notice this part. Knowing that even you may have even worked hard to keep this part of you just kind of there, right? And now, through this act of caring for yourself even more, like Pisces is overwhelmingly showing how important it is to take care of all parts of yourself, knowing that things are still going to appear and reveal itself, and epiphanies will still come, and moments of, realizations, ahas, whatever you want to call them, they're still coming. There's nothing short of that in the season of water. And, this could bring you to a very emotional place, even like a very deep spiritual place that makes you miss the water seasons, and you realize you're here and you're here doing it, and how powerful it is because it exceeds space and time. If we want to talk about that, we can also talk about Reiki. We can also talk about praying or sending energy to a certain extent, which it basically is praying and sending love. And Reiki does that as well. So when you're working with energy, and to that extent, and then you can even take water into it, take it even more physical yet deeper into the water that you drink, right? Or the water that you are, or the water you encounter. So we're in this water season that can do so much good. And it's very clear that this is what you need to balance out your systems right now, to come back into a specific alignment with yourself. This brings newfound inspiration, this mental inspiration where you just, when you just get into a zone and you just keep going, and then all of a sudden your whole day is gone, and you're going to bed at like into the early mornings, into the early eves, and there's this internal moment where you realize you don't have to fight to keep something alive within yourself. You don't have to hide. You can be seen. I might even put this out. I'll put this out tomorrow. We'll still be in the Libra full moon because I think that's, you know, cardinal signs. It's not just showing you where you can take initiation to move forward. It's not just showing you like what could be the next step. It's showing you that this movement, this direction that you're going in and into the mystery once again is the best place you can be when you are not only working on something that is exposing a side of yourself, or to some extent, no matter what, you're exposing a side of yourself. So you're exposing a side of yourself, and yet there's so much motivation to do it, but maybe less to actually put it out there in whatever capacity that means for you. Publish a book or put out a video, because I think you need a moment of like realizing how whenever you get through something or go through something that's so impactful, there's something created out of it. And what you're creating now, as opposed to what you've created or what you've gone through or who you are now, as opposed to who you used to be, you can really see how there has been a fight to keep something alive inside of you, but it remains alive through these creations. So it's never really dead. And I think coming to that, all of that at the end of the month is this wrapping up of this beautiful moment, and this, whatever it is that you're creating or doing differently, you have a different view of it. You have a different angle. And it's possible that if you're ever feeling some type of frustration, and as hard as it is to find gratitude or find something that you're totally enamored by that you've done and building that part up for yourself, that's kind of where the full circle moment comes in, and it helps you understand that even these very strong cardinal, very strong, even red depicting characters, these people in your life or moments in your life where you feel like certain things are being revealed to you, because there's a separation from the holding on to that you've worked so hard to keep a part of you safe to an extent. We'll go with safe. And yet it's so clear that the exposing of it, not exposition, is exactly what you needed to find this balance, to find this ability to understand that now is the time for it to reveal itself to you, to only add to what you've been working with. And then you can understand even where some frustrations have come from that were bound by this part of you, or hidden with this part of you, or coming from this part of you, or the lack of, right? So we'll get more into all of that, especially where it's coming from, how it's a part of what you're initiating next, and all that good stuff in Pisces season, and how it's healing everything for you. All right. Oh, wow. And it just keeps going and making more sense. All right. So we will see you next month in Aries season. All information to work with me below, and contact is below. All of it. We'll see you then.